Right, Tom, it's Monday afternoon. I know I've filmed these birds feeding time and time again, but it's not so much the amount of birds, which I have 50% of the UK's starlings in my garden, but I want to just bring you to this feeder here. That's got the worm things in. That was filled up at 3:15 this afternoon, and it's now, I'm going over to the clock, and that's the time now. I know it's not a big feeder, but they make short shift of it. A lot of it drops on the ground, of course, and gets picked up by the other birds. Yeah. They love them. Got to a stage now where when I'm filling up the feeders, the blackbirds especially, just come round my feet waiting. They're so tame. You can't keep up with them, really. It's a glorious sunny day. We've got the sun back. It's still a little bit cool if you get out of the sun, but where I'm sat, just outside the kitchen window, it's lovely and sunny and warm, and it's going to get warmer by Wednesday. So I've just had a water round. I've got everything watered up. I've got some big pots. I've got a giant pot actually for some sunflowers, which I'll video later on in the month. I've just done some potting up of some sunflowers, taken them out of the tray, put them into the pots, let them get established, and then I'll get them outside in the next week or so. So there we go. Hungry-nosed little devils. See, it's just about empty. They are bad-tempered things, aren't they? Starlings. All the scrapping and... You'd never get them to share anything, would you? I think one of them's been in the bath round the front is wet through. But you can't have woof these. I can never remember the name of these worm things. Pigeon sat. He's going to have a peck at the suet block. But what I do now, I'll let them completely empty all the feeders before I top them up. And they were all empty this afternoon when I came out to do the watering. So completely empty. I'm not putting any more worms in there tonight. I'm not going to spoil them. I just don't understand why I'm not getting goldfinches, because there is a lot of goldfinches around here, loads of them, and I've got ninja seeds in that feeder over there. I put plenty in, because the sparrows tend not to bother with them, but I haven't seen a bullfinch seriously feed here for a while. So there you are, look, it's just about empty now. And it's just before 3:30. So under 15 minutes, and that's about empty. Right, I'll see you later. Right, Tom, I've just started again actually, because I've just noticed that a lot of the starlings have got rings on the legs. And I've just moved further down the garden on my deck chair, and I'm going to see if I can catch one. As you can see, the mealworm feeder's about empty now, but they are funny birds. They come and they have a feed frenzy, then they all fly off. But there is a lot that are ringed, which I've never noticed before. I'll just put me on it. Yeah, never ever noticed. They've all flown away now because I mentioned that. Anyway, I'll just pause it, and then if I can just manage to catch one, if it stays long enough, you might just be able to see it. Now this one has a eyes gone. That one had a ring on. Very hard to pick up on camera, obviously. They don't stay still long enough. But it isn't just the odd one. It's quite a few. I don't know whether I can pick anything up here. If I pan in too much, it goes blurry. Sit still. Yeah. I mean, when they were feeding really furiously when I first filled everything up, where are we? There we are. Until I got closer, I didn't realise there must have been half a dozen with rings on. So they're obviously part of a count, a starling count, I think. Anyway, we do have the blue tit activity still in the box, just in and out every now and again, so I would think one of them is just supplying food to the egg sitter. I've seen it a couple of times today, but as I say, once the young ones get hatched and they start feeding regular, I'm hoping to get some better shots. Right, well, I'm ready for my tea and a pint, so Watching all these birds eating is making me hungry. Alright, see you later. Well, Tom, what I've done here, I've got rid of the worm feeder, the mealworm feeder that just had mealworms in, and I've got 3 feeders now with a mixture of suet balls, mealworms, seed, a few nuts, and I've mixed it all together. But this is purely an experiment to try and deter the starlings taking all the mealworms like they did in the last video. But I think I've made the problem worse, because they're all fighting like mad for mealworms inside the other ones. They aren't interested in seeds so much as the mealworms and the suet balls. But it's not quite plain sailing. They know they're in there, of course, so they're scratching them out. So I might have made the problem worse. And away. Yeah, still plenty with bands on the legs. Anyway, I'll see how it goes. I just thought, you know, I fill that mealworm feeder up and it's emptied in no time at all, like it was yesterday. But I don't know whether my experiment is going to work. We'll see.